wanted an intro music, but today they said no, so. Yeah, okay, I just want to call your attention, we have a public hearing coming up here, so. And we'll go to President Hudson.
Sorry, Counselor.
Go on, thank you.
You
City
corrected,
Clerk.
Counselor.
Yes,
You mean, public hearing that happened, right?
right,
Okay.
okay. President Hudson's, we'll have entertain some commissioner deeds. We'll go to Councilor Caldwell.
Thank you, Pro Tem Hogan. Blessings to all. I have items number 10. Commissioner Byrd.
Good afternoon, Commissioner of Parks, Aisha Byrd. We have one. It's to authorize a payment to various performers for Big Rig Day that takes place Saturday, May 17th at Burnett Park from 11 to 3. Total not to exceed $2,000.
Awesome. This is something that happens every year.
And people love it.
Yes,
Right.
absolutely.
And if you don't know what a rig is, because a lot of people don't, it's a truck, right? It's big vehicles. Some of our titles, if you
Yeah.
ask a kid what a big rig is, they don't know.
Absolutely.
So it's trucks. We have the SWAT team coming. It's a bunch of vehicles that will be there, some community organizations tabling, just a big day of fun.
And food, too.
And food. Don't forget the food.
Marty never forgets the food. Well,
Thank you.
thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm all set, Hogan.
Okay. Commissioner, or Councilor Majok.
Commissioner.
Well, you never can tell.
That's
you
a
know?
new one. I have item 11 to 14. Item 11 is on point for college. It's the Safer Streets contracts that is being given to On Point. And we had a committee meeting a few days ago. I don't know if anyone else has questions. Good to go? Okay. Item 12, we'll have more discussion about this tomorrow. Discussion tomorrow, we'll know the details of it by Monday. Item 13, Chief.
Good afternoon, Councilors. Richard Shaw, First Deputy Chief of Police. Item 13, it's an agreement with Axon to renew the Axon Air subscription to allow the police department to stream most UAS flights automatically, tracked hours flown for each UAS flight. The term of the agreement is 5 years, starting March 1st, 2025 through 2030. The total amount not to exceed $111,820.80. This is going to be grant funded. And 14 is also related from the same grant. It's another Axon, and this one will be for $12,000, and it will allow our SWAT operators to live view the video. And what I'd like to point out, this has absolutely nothing to do with the Drone as a First Responder program. This is totally separate.
Thank you, Chief. That's the point I was going to make.
All right. Any other questions? Because we had a very robust discussion this morning around drones. Anyone with questions? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Gathers.
Thank you, President Pro Tem. Items 15 through 18. We'll start with number 15. Engineering is going to come to talk about the parcel owned by the people of the state of New York.
Good afternoon, councilors. Mary Robinson, city engineer. Here's a couple color copies of the lot I'm talking about.
Color too.
Thank you.
So this is a lot that was supposed to be dedicated to us back in 1979 when the state did a realignment of Colvin Street, and it never was done. So basically, we're just accepting this parcel, which is partially in the right-of-way right now, the street. And then the state also had an agreement with Key Bank to maintain the amenities, and we will be doing the same thing with Key Bank.
We don't have any future plans. We're just going to keep.
Right.
maintaining
We
it.
did, so this was part of the East Colvin work that we did last year, finished it last year. So how it is right now is how it's going to remain. And it's no cost to the city.
Any other questions? All right, do you have 16 as well?
16 is right of entry agreement with the New York Susquehanna Western. We have received some TAP funding to build a West Side Trail from the near west side, like West Fayette Street at Seneca, going west across Geddes Street on the old abandoned railroad bridge, which is the most southern bridge that's not being used, and then creating a trail which will be partially on New York Susquehanna and Western property. So this agreement is to get access to the property to do some surveying work so we can determine where the trail will go.
Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Number 17. Commissioner.
Good afternoon, Councilors. Commissioner Robinson over DPW. This item I'm handling for Neil Burke. It's us to amend our contract with JMT for design and striping for this project on Lodi.
Any questions on this item?
Oh, I was going to say.
All right.
Come on.
Thank you,
I'm so
Commissioner.
sorry.
All right, item 18, the contract with Last Parking.
Afternoon, Councilors. Corey Dunham, Chief Administrative Officer. So this is to extend our contract with Laz Parking for the operation of our parking garages, and we are engaged in an RFP process. So the intent is to issue an RFP, only extend this contract for 6 months, and then, let the RFP process play out.
So, Corey, you and I talked a couple weeks ago. The request for the RFP from the council was a year ago at this point.
Yes.
That didn't happen.
Right.
Since you and I met a couple weeks ago, what has happened in the interim?
So we have met with purchasing in the budget office and, use the newly launched OpenGov software to get the RFP, to make sure that we're addressing, the last time we issued the RFP, there were a number of questions. There was also limited information we had at that time. We have a lot more information now to include in the RFP, so we're just making sure it's comprehensive, putting the final touches on it. So we anticipate that we will issue the RFP, if not by the end of this week, very early next week.
Okay. I don't know when is appropriate to go into it, but the assumptions on parking garage revenue are significantly different from the prior year.
We are proposing in the budget, there is a proposal to increase our garage rates, which have not been, parking garage rates which have not been increased in some time. And so that likely accounts for the increase in revenue for parking garages.
I'm sure we'll have a robust conversation.
Yes,
in a
I will
couple
be there.
days.
Corey, the travel, the staff parking and the bus, how's that going?
The shuttle, it's going well. I mean, if there's, I'd be happy to get from Laz kind of the latest numbers if that would be helpful, but I do, in our reports from Laz and also anecdotally see that employees are taking advantage of it.
Did we ever figure out, did we purchase the bus or did we lease it? How did that happen?
So we have an agreement with Laz where they purchase the shuttle itself remains in Laz's name. We paid for it, and the agreement with Laz is that at any time, they need to transfer title to us as soon as we request it.
Okay.
So if at any reason, we no longer want it in Laz's name, then they need to sign it over to us.
Thank you.
Thank you, councilors.
Any other questions? All set, thank you.
Okay, and I have 19 through 26. And somebody's walking up to the podium here. Is that Commissioner OJ? Are you going to speak to this easement, Commissioner?
Councilors, good morning. Matt OJ, Commissioner of Assessment. Yeah, we've got this modified submission in. I understand that it can't be introduced and tabled until we have a legal description in the appendix. Been in communication with council, and I think they should be drafting that shortly.
So we're going to introduce and table that? Your suggestion is?
Confirm with the clerk, but I don't think we've got permission to introduce and table until we do
recommendation,
have that
clerk?
legal description.
We can, if you all get the legal description by
Before Monday.
before now.
Before now.
This is an inside joke between you and us.
John Black is so good, but I think
You can go back
not
in time
DeLorean
and
level
get the
good is the trouble.
commission.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get me if you can get the legal description, like, today, tomorrow, whatever.
Yeah. John is on it. I know we'll have it shortly.
Yeah, other than that, you'll be able to introduce it in table.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
So
you all.
we'll depend on you there, Commissioner.
We try.
20 and 21, Michael?
Councilors, Michael Collins, Commissioner for Department of Neighborhood and Business Development. Christian Tollner, who's been our Director of Zoning, has moved south to be with family, and our loss is City of Sarasota's gain with the amazing work that he's done. So Zitong Wu from the development team, or the zoning team, is going to handle 20 through 24, and then Eric Hannes will take the last two.
Okay, so Zitong, who I've dealt with before, welcome to the fray, Zitong.
Hi, councilors. This is Zitong Wu from the Office of Zoning Administration. So for the item 20, it's a special use permit to establish a convenience store. The Planning Commission recommends approval to this project. I believe this project was held from the previous council meetings. And just give a little bit background about this project. The property owner is required by the zoning code to apply for a special use permit for the proposed convenience store. In order to establish their business and to receive their certificate of use business license. That's why they apply for the special use permit.
Sure.
Yeah, so from the previous Planning Commission meeting, the property is not eligible for a tobacco sales due to the close to public parks and an active tobacco license. The convenience store will sell packaged food and beverages. Per the applicant, they propose not having liquor sales in the store.
So I've held this, both of these last time I thought there was going to be more information, Commissioner. I thought there would be more information from Mr. Shield wanted to weigh in on this.
Yeah, so I can get you some stuff. Ryan Shield, Director of Codes, has been going back and forth with SPD, so we're able to get you some more information, and we'll have it to you the next day or
So
two.
I'll hold this with a question mark, both 20 and
Yeah,
21.
20, yep, for those two, sure. So 22.
Until I get that information. Thank you. Thank you. No, 21, did you want to speak to 21 too?
Yeah. So for the item 21, it's also a special use permit to establish a convenience store. This Planning Commission recommends approval to this project. Also, the project was held in the during previous council meetings. Similar to the item 20, it is also, they need a certificate of use to operate their business. That's why they apply for the special use permit. The tobacco license was denied, and so no tobacco sales are allowed in this store. And also the convenience store will sell packaged food, beverages, and beer. One of the conditions from the Planning Commission's approval is they need to obtain a state liquor license before they operate the business.
Okay, I'm going to hold with a question mark with this one too.
Yep.
Okay, 22.
22, okay. The item 22 is a special use permit to establish a parking lot at the 700 Erie Boulevard West. The Planning Commission recommends approval to this project. This project is also companion to a major site plan review to literally construct the parking lot. The property is currently home to a very large commercial building, which will require demolish to complete the proposed action. The applicant intends to use the parking lot as an extension of the parking lot for the Marcellus Commons at 129 Richmond Avenue, but the parking lot will also keep open to the public so that it will conform to the zoning code.
This is my council district. I'm in favor of this. There's extremely difficult parking in that area as far as residential, so this will be welcomed. 23?
Yes. 23 is a special use permit to establish a food and beverage retail land use type, which is also a convenience store. So the Planning Commission recommends denial to this project because there's several facts behind this decision. The existing business keep selling tobacco illegally without a city liquor license, city tobacco license, which they are also not eligible to get one. The existing parking lot features is non-compliant to the previously issued building permit. The existing parking lot pavement actually encroaches into the Lodi Street right-of-way and North Cross Avenue right-of-way. The owner needs to restore the green space buffer following the previous issued building permit. And also, it's possible that the applicant can seek correction to this site and stop selling tobacco illegally and reapply for a special use permit later on.
So he's been informed he's in violation of multiple ordinances, and he's still continuing on this course, and now he's coming to us to ask for a special permit?
Yes. So that's
it's a bold thing to do.
So I support this denial. Okay. Because this comes right into my council district at that end.
Yeah.
And we have more than our share. So with his track record, we should deny it.
Okay.
Well, we'll get a chance to do that on Monday. So
Okay.
Thank you on that. All right, who's speaking to 24? Are you speaking to that too, Mr. Khan?
Yeah. Yeah. So 24 is a zoning map amendment to changing the parcel. Right now, it's a pending zone district to the R5 zone district. The reason why the parcel is pending because there is a re-subdivision application happened. The re-subdivision was approved prior to the adoption of the rezone code. Thus, the official zoning map was published while Housing Visions was in the process of filing the approved re-subdivision map with the county clerk's office. So there is a 1-year lag time between this situation and also leaves many undefined zoning districts on the zoning maps currently. So it's actually right now zoning office is trying to assign the zone district to these undefined zone parcels. And the reason why the property we choose to assign the R5 zone district is because the subject property has a lot size comparable to the neighboring parcels classified under the same R5 zone district. And also the lot is currently undergoing a construction. The approved permit to develop the 2-unit dwelling proposed to be built on this property meets the dimension requirements of the R5 zone district. So without creating further obstacles to the construction, we decide to zone it as a R5 zone district.
Okay, I'm going to sort of hold this with a question mark until Councilor Jones-Rouser.
Who decided to zone it as R5?
The zoning administrator.
Have we heard from the neighbors?
Yes, it's been going to the Planning Commission, and I believe the public are allowed to speak to that.
Yeah,
yes.
right.
Let's see what Councilor Jones-Rouser says.
Yeah, and also the Planning Commission recommends approval to this project.
Okay, thank you. 25 and 26, thanks, Don. You did good your first time out of the batter's box. I like that.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good afternoon, councilors. Eric Ennis, Neighborhood and Business Development. So items 25 and 26 have to do with the ongoing continued planning effort for the Syracuse Developmental Center. Part of this involves the creation of a Planned Development District, or PDD is the acronym. So essentially, the site has been included as MX4. One of the things that we're doing as part of the master planning effort for the project As the council may recall, we have a combination of townhomes as well as the apartments. And so in order to be more conforming with those zoning requirements, a PDD allows for, one, it just conforms to the master plan, allows for greater flexibility, because technically doing 3-story townhomes in MX4 is more challenging. So basically, it's in keeping with the master plan that we've been able to work with the council to proceed with and with the community, but these zoning changes will allow the project to proceed through next steps. The project was reviewed by both the county planning board and by city departments as part of this review before coming to you, as well as the planning commission, which ultimately recommended the approval.
Eric, where are we at with this whole process, with everything?
Sure. Yeah. So what we're talking about today is a big step in the right direction. So we have the master plan documents, as well as now we're starting to put together the permitting drawings and the construction drawings for the first phase. Phase 1 is going to include 261 units, a combination of the apartments as well as the townhomes that are going to be built by home headquarters. And so doing this step, getting through zoning and permitting, allows us to keep moving in the right direction. So Homes and Community Renewal through the state, HCR, we're actively continuing to work with them in terms of the ability to secure the financing in order for phase 1 to break ground. So all of this is ongoing kind of simultaneously.
Because existing zoning wouldn't allow buildings and homes, correct?
Yeah, essentially what I said a moment ago about MX4. So MX4, it's more of a dense classification. It's the second highest, second to downtown. With this area, we're trying to keep in the neighborhood character, also build in the apartments. And so it's in order to move forward with the master plan that has both been adopted by council, but also has been adopted by the planning and developer team, the PDD gives us the greatest level to achieve that.
And I think, I'll talk to you afterwards about outreach maybe to some of the neighborhood groups, because
Sure.
With the designation, the plan, as we discussed before, the plan and
I am
district.
always happy to answer questions
Okay.
from the community on this project.
Now I know we got a big parcel of land up there that I talked about before, but what about the one set aside for the light industrial part of it?
Yeah, so part of
Do
what
we have
we're
any
doing here.
interest in anybody going up there?
Yeah,
or-
so, well, here's what I'll say. A lot of the actual design drawings and efforts that we're talking about right now is for phase 1. The light manufacturing and industrial, we have really been promoting on a more regional level about projects that for multi-acre development, for that kind of use for manufacturing, very limited sites you can do that in the city of Syracuse. This is one of those. So we are actively promoting that and talking to potential, tenants that could become anchor tenants of that site.
Okay.
So we'll have more information as those details, as we start to get more of a sense of what that project
What about
could
the
look like.
negotiations with the zoo?
Yeah, so that involves both the county and the city continuing to forge ahead with that land. Our plan has been to build that separately from, let me say this, the land itself has been set aside separate from the development itself. Conversations between the county's executive's office and the city are ongoing.
And depending on that, they would come back before the council.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, before any transaction were to take place, we'd be coming back to the council for that.
And those are 261 mixed units, right?
I'm sorry, say that again,
You
Councilor.
said the ones that home headquarters are, you said 261?
Correct. No, that's the total for the apartments, and then
Yeah.
27 townhomes is what home headquarters will be building.
Right, and those are mixed units, right, or no?
They'll be owner occupied, and then it's being funded through a very specific program that allows to go up to 100% of area median income. So it's a income restricted, but it allows greater flexibility than some of the other programs that the state offers.
Eric, is there a way we can get sort of like a rough timeline, outline, or anything like that at all?
Sure. Yeah. So what I would say is, in some cases, some of the elements are moving targets. We have to work with the state to be able to confirm when they can close on financing. But one of the things too, some of the steps right now about the planning and the projects and the permitting, we can share kind of our latest update on the timeline there.
Be wonderful.
Actually, the demolition has gone along pretty fast.
I will say that on a daily basis, the crews are up there, and more of it continues to come down. So,
Any other questions on this? Okay, Councilor Williams, you're up.
Thank you, Councilor Hogan. Today I've got items 27 through 36. Commissioner?
Counselor?
I know that many of us have had conversation about the revale amongst ourselves, but we as a body have not had an opportunity to come together and all have a conversation related to it. We do have a caucus tomorrow, and we will be discussing the reval in addition to a number of other topics. I request that we continue to hold this item.
Anything I can do to help answer, facilitate, anything that my professional better half sitting behind me can do to help fill in those gaps, please don't hesitate.
We will let Ann know.
Yeah, there we go. That's the answer.
We don't believe that.
In Ann we trust.
Commissioner, ancillary to this, I was just wondering if our surrounding entities, if maybe we could have some sort of a rough accounting of when they last did it, like the town of Clay, for instance.
I don't know that I could speak for the town of Clay.
No, I mean, just so we know. So
No, I'm sorry. I was trying to be diplomatic there. Their equalization rate is a shade lower than ours. I was at an event at the law school 2 weeks ago and was reminded by a judge up there, hey, remember when you did this in 1994 and you partnered with Geddes, Salina, and DeWitt? I didn't. I was 11 years old. But I think it's a really wise thing to pursue in a time of
one of your
straight.
professors who was grading you, or?
No. I rarely get graded at my social stops these days.
Okay.
No. I think this would be a really prudent thing to do. We've had preliminary conversations with Geddes. It hasn't necessarily gone anywhere, but I do think there's some rolling state aid, not for reval specifically, but for intermunicipal, shall we say, effort sharing. Technical term.
Okay.
Great, thank you. We'll let you know. 28.
Good afternoon, councilors. Veronica Voss, Deputy Commissioner of Finance. I understand this pay lock agreement was held. It was brought to my attention that there's obviously other companies out there, and we are looking into that because there is a large difference between what we're charging the registered owners and what the city is paying. So we have a meeting on Friday. We'll be able to, if we continue to hold this, then we can share that information, see if we find better pricing with another company.
Thank you very much. Commissioner, item 29, do you have any additional information, detail?
I've got some great talking points from my terrific colleague in API, but I'm going to go extemporaneously because it's too dense for me. As you all know, I think we've been working for about 14 months with Bill McGuire, who did some really terrific consulting services for the city of Buffalo prior to their citywide equity update 5 years ago now. We had approved last year a contract, a one-year deal that would have consequently expired. After consulting with our friends in digital services, it was really determined that it would be a little more sensible for us to go with a 5-year deal where, for instance, if the reval proceeded, we could get updates based on the acquisition of new software, for instance, that this wouldn't be bad money down the drain in 1 year, that we could proceed with a multi-year deal. We've been working with law to revise the ordinance. Hope to have that for everybody very soon.
Are we in a position to be able to move, or do we need to continue to hold? There was issues with the contract last cycle.
The contract, to the best of my knowledge, to the extent that there is one, is fine. It's the drafting of the draft ordinance that I think was presenting a couple of problems. There's no major, no material revision to the scope of work. This is simply extending the time period, same NTE number. So I think this should be okay, assuming we can get a draft ordinance before everybody's eyes. How soon? How soon is too late, I guess I'm asking.
Yeah, the only reason why it was
Hop
held,
in the DeLorean again?
Left my DeLorean behind today, I'm afraid.
the only reason why it was held last time because it was discussed with Corp Counsel, who is drafting legislation as far as like the contract that currently exists now. So that's where the problem lied, that they didn't see that contract to amend for this. So, yeah, we can check with Catherine. I think that should probably be the first thing you do, to check with her and make
Just to make sure that she has the previously drafted contract. That's something we can certainly achieve.
Yeah, and then we can go from that.
TBD.
Thanks.
Thank you. Commissioner, I believe you're still up, number 30?
Sorry, this is my mystery item. I think we're going to executive session after this to discuss. This was a little new to me, but we're going to learn something.
All right,
Thank you.
executive session. And Commissioner Canzaro, 31.
Good afternoon, Common Council. Mike Canizaro, Commissioner of Finance. You all should have received from me, I think last Tuesday afternoon, the mid-year transfer projection. So this is a 3-page narrative, and then Appendix A would be the transfer that we're discussing today, along with 15 pages of a Hyperion report. Are there any questions on the narrative? And then I can kind of detail the transfer. For the mid-year transfer, we're looking at $4.7 million transferring from, that's about $1.4 million of departmental expenses that are coming in under budget. And then we're taking an additional about $3.4 million from special objects. These are primarily non-discretionary special objects that the invoices have already hit, so there's no additional expense expected to be incurred in fiscal year 25, or we have better actuals for some of these numbers as opposed to when this budget was done a year ago. The transfer two, where we're transferring $1.3 million to departmental expenses and $3.4 million to another subset of special object expenses. The largest one there being medical insurance. I think during the COVID years, claims were down, claims are now up, prescription drug prices are up, so health insurance continues to be a difficult item for us to budget just based on the activity. So any questions on the mid-year transfer?
Is it something normally we do? Like, why are we moving it from special objects and paying for it? Like, we're using special objects money to pay for, you said 4.9 million, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Is that something that we would normally do?
We do this annually, yeah. So this
Okay.
report should be submitted on March 15th. We submitted it to you on April 1st. I think just with some of the turnover we've experienced, and then additionally for, personally, fiscal year 24, audit ended, we issued that a week and a half ago. This is fiscal year 25. We're working on the fiscal year 26 budget, so we're kind of working in 3 fiscal years right now. So yeah, this report should have been submitted to you on March 15th, but this is an annual requirement that we need to submit to council.
Counselor, you good? Thank you. Then 32 is the local law, which will be introduced and tabled.
Yep. So New York State law, if you exceed your tax cap, you have to receive legislative approval. The tax cap formula is a prescribed New York State calculation. So, I think you all received your budget books. You can see that we have a 2% increase proposed for the combined city and school tax rate. The tax cap calculation is not that easy. You're looking at all the assessments, you're backing out debt service, you're layering in capital expenses. So we do this local law every year just in case. Like, there are years that we do not exceed the tax cap, that we still have this passed, because if we did, it's in place. So really, this is a CYA activity. Cover your.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
Then 33 is a look into the future, talking about the public hearing for the budget. That will be held April 29th. 34, for the actual estimate, what are we doing legislatively? You holding?
Yeah, that's going to be held.
Yep, okay, so 34 will be held, and moving on to 35.
Hi again. We are asking permission to amend ordinance 87 of this year. 2 roll corrections for the past couple of years, typographical error, looking to set that right. Thanks all.
Thank you.
Commissioner, I would suggest maybe, and Joe, since we have the budget presentation right after this, I think maybe we'll do the executive session between the study session and the council meeting on Monday, if that's okay?
Fine
That's
by me.
okay? Okay, so. Thanks. All my counselors agree? Okay.
Right, and item 36.
Number 36, so this is an agreement with Northwind Communications. Basically, there is a piece of fiber that runs from our network at City Hall directly to WCNY, which allows the simulcast of public broadcasting that people at home are enjoying right now. And so this is just renewing the agreement, amending the agreement with Northwind.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
And
Well, you know, Counselor Williams, before we go on, I want
Sure.
to recognize President Hudson's here. It's good to see you in the council chambers, and you'll be at your seat for the budget presentation, correct,
Yes,
President? And take the pressure off of me. That's terrific, because it's all about me. No. Okay.
All right, and so item 37 is an item brought forth by myself and Councilor Hogan. It will be for 2 honorary signs for Tom Golisano. I've been talking with and working with Upstate for quite a while now, and actually when Upstate came to me requesting the ceremonial signs, that dollar amount was about $10 million. Since that point, we've received, as a city, about another $10 million in donations from Tom Golisano, who spends much of his time in Florida now. He will be up at an event in early June where we hope to unveil the signs. And there will be one in front of the Children's Hospital at the corner of Adams and Irving. The second will be in front of the Children's Pavilion, which is dedicated to pediatric mental health. That will be at the corner of Irving and Madison. One in my district and one in Councilor Hogan's district.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Counselor Williams, and obviously, Mr. Golisano did a lot for a lot of people in this central New York area, so he's being honored in this way, and I congratulate all my city councilors and urge they vote for this. Councilor Jones?
Yes.
Everybody on board?
Yeah.
Sorry, Counselor.
Councilor Jones-Rousers will be taken by Councilor Monto.
Thank you, Pat. Counselor Hogan. Items 38 through 46. 38, Counselor Jones-Rouser is going to hold for a committee meeting, Michelle.
Sounds good.
39.
39, Michelle Spansky, Deputy Commissioner of Neighborhood Development. 39 is just amending an ordinance that was recently passed for some lead remediation funds for housing visions. We inadvertently did not include the official legal name of the property owner, which is Ashley Arms LLC, so we're just correcting that, but it's still housing visions in all intents and purposes.
Any questions on that one? Okay. Thanks, Michelle.
Thanks.
40.
Councilors, item 40 is in agreement with Peterson Guadagnolo Consulting Engineers to provide our elevator review and certifications. This was done through an RFP process. They were the lowest bidder. They are Syracuse-based, and they've been doing this work for us for, I believe, at least 7 years. We've, for at least that long, third-party the elevator review, since it is very specific, but not it's not the work that we're in a position to bring in an in-house person to do.
Thanks, Mike. Hi, come on.
Good afternoon, councilors. Kimon Jordan, Director of Housing and Neighborhood Planning. So items 41 through 46 are requests to have these properties transferred to the land bank once the foreclosure process is complete. We would actually request that council hold items 41, 44, 45, and 46. So the finance department has had successful contact with the property owners, and they're moving forward with their tax trust applications.
Let's go. Yeah.
Thanks, come on. I'm all set, Counselor Hogan.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll have the budget presentations shortly, right, Ms. Driscoll or Brent Dunham? Yes, okay. So we'll be up at the dais. So I take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay.